It is often called catfishing, where someone online uses affection and love to trick victims out of thousands of dollars. But with so much money on the line, romance fraud has become big business, involving entire groups and specialists. W5's Avery Haynes spoke to a man who infiltrated one of those groups. She's with us in studio again today. This story, Avery, we hear about romance scams all the time, and I think the perception is, loneliness is an epidemic in the UK. They've cited it as an epidemic. It's a powerful motivator.
And I think that there is this perception that the person who's getting scammed is a gullible woman, because it generally is a woman, and that the scammer is some lone guy at an internet cafe, probably in Nigeria. I mean, we've all heard the trope about the Nigerian prince with the really bad English. What we have discovered in this one-hour documentary, which we're calling The Invisible Man, is that it is a global crime syndicate, that it has a name. It's called the Black Axe. It spreads around the world, 26 countries, including right here in Canada. 2 Toronto police officers uncovered the presence of Black Axe in this country, in Alberta and in Ontario, back in 2014.
Your work revolved around a woman named Colleen. She died by suicide after losing almost $1 million. How was she tricked?
She was tricked. She was in a long-term relationship. She met a guy on a dating website named Ryan Scott, who was an oil rig worker. And within a matter of months, this sort of back and forth conversation had developed into a loving relationship. She believed that she was going to have this relationship with this man. She sent him money, and he promised to pay her back. By the time she died by suicide, 2 years later, she was convinced that she was about to be arrested. We have her suicide note that said, "Police are coming to arrest me tomorrow." And this is what this crime syndicate does. When you start sending money, if you don't send more, they say, you've broken the law, the police are going to come and get you. So it may start as a romance scam, and then it gets much more sinister.
So it's manipulation on manipulation.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. The Black Axe is the organization that you mentioned, and they specialize in this, in romance fraud. And you met with someone who infiltrated this group. He's received a lot of threats as a result. I want to give our viewers a look and then get your response.
Well, I've had a lot of death threats from them over the years. I think one year I got 400 death threats, and there's quite some imaginative ones of them describing in good detail what they wanted to do to me.
Obviously, the threat is very real. You've disguised his identity.
He wouldn't even let us say, we had to travel quite a distance to go and meet him, and he wouldn't even let us say what country he's in.
Wow. What did he learn from this group?
So he is a financial fraud analyst who managed to infiltrate them a number of years ago. So he was able to uncover their hierarchy, which is very sophisticated, and the zones that they have, which including in Canada. He listened to them as they had their chats about the women that they were scamming, laughing about people who were dying by suicide, laughing, they call them the mugu, the big fool, the women who would give all of their money away. And he also uncovered the crimes that they were committing in the different zones that they operate in. In Italy, they've been declared a mafia. They're in Nigeria, where they originated as a fraternity back in the 1970s with very lofty goals, good goals, that was then turned into an incredibly militant and criminal organization.
So many times women don't report this type of crime because they are embarrassed.
Do you know that an estimated 20,000 Canadians are ripped off every year in romance fraud? It's the #1 fraud in this country.
Really?
Fewer than 1,000 ever report it. And of those fewer than 1,000, annually it's about $22 million losses. And there is a shame involved in it. I would implore anyone who's in an online relationship right now to go onto an organization called Scam Haters United. It's a website that puts all the photos of the guys who are always used. It's American military, or it's someone on an oil rig. Check to make sure, and if anyone ever asks you for money, you are being conned.
It is an important documentary, and thank you so much for coming on to preview it with us. It's called The Invisible Man. It airs this Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern, right here on CTV. Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.